Hey there, y'all. It's DepMythMoon, Moon, whatever you like to call me. And today we're doing a video about ArtFight 2025. It's pretty much an art challenge that comes around every July, and you're basically separated onto two teams. You upload your original characters, and then people who come across your original characters have the opportunity to draw them. Based off of the drawing that those people do, they're awarded points. So say, is it a full body? Is it just a face? Is it a sketch? Does it have color? Is it shaded? Does it have a background? All of that stuff is given points, and then they calculate those points together, and based on whoever has the most points at the end of the month, that will be the winning team. What do you win? Simply bragging rights, and it's just a fun opportunity to get some art of your original characters. So here I have some characters that I bookmarked in advance, and I took y'all through some of the ones that show up on your homepage, and I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So for this year's art fight, it's Team Fossils versus Team Crystals, and I was sorted onto Team Crystals. You do have the opportunity to choose which team you want to be on if you want to just go with a specific theme, but I usually let it be randomized. I didn't want Team Crystals, to be honest, and I just so happened to get exactly what I wanted. This year has really been neck and neck between the teams. I've never seen it stay so close to 50-50 ever, but as of the time that I'm recording this voiceover, it is literally 50-50 between Fossils and Crystals, so it can go either way. Anyways, I'm not going to spend too much time discussing the rules of ArtFight. I really wanted to discuss my process and how I handle doing these attacks for ArtFight. So as y'all can see, I'm sketching out my attack traditionally before I take it digitally. I do this often when it comes to any digital drawings that I do, just because, I don't know, it feels easier for me to do sketching on paper. Trying to sketch on a smooth iPad screen, even with that paper-like screen protector, is just something about it does not work for me. So I just need to get that paper and pencil out and get to sketching and getting whatever idea down, working through it, erasing. I need that process. It's not to say I can't do it digitally, it's just for some reason it feels like it takes longer and it's less satisfying. The first character that I chose is a character named Aku by tarasprod. I was immediately drawn to their design because if y'all know me, y'all would know from my other drawings that I've done and I post on Instagram, characters that have horns and sharp teeth or like non-human features, I instantly want to draw them. I love them so much, and this was no different. I was really torn on which version of the character I wanted to draw because the makeup they have, slayed. Like, I love it. But yeah, I'm only human. I had to stick to my roots. Sue me. I can't help it. You know, put me in cuffs now. I do love these characters that have these features, and if y'all see a pattern in any of my character designs, no you don't. Moving on. As y'all can see, I lightened the initial sketch that I did with pencil, and I decided to go over it again with one of my favorite pencils on earth. Y'all, I got one of these pencils in either a Scrawler box or a Art Snacks box years ago, and the moment I used that pencil, I bought like 3 more. This is my second one. Never in my artistic journey have I ever used an entire pencil down to the nub. Y'all, I literally had to get a pencil extender to continue using that first pencil. It got past that red line y'all see at the tip. It got past that. And finally, I had to give it up. It's the Derwent Graphic pencil in HB. Y'all, like, I could still use that original pencil if I wanted to. It's still in the extender. I just can't sharpen it anymore. Once it got to the end, it looked so rough because I started using like a blade, bruh. Yes, it really was that deep to me, and this pencil has a special place in my heart. Maybe there's a better pencil out there. There might be. I'm not gonna deny that. But for me, this is one of the best pencils I ever used. So if y'all want to take any recommendations, that's a good pencil. Anyways, got a little sidetracked. But yeah, I decided that I was gonna redefine the sketch a little bit more with a darker pencil, and then I was using the color pencil that I initially sketched with just to add in a little pop of color where the main color for the character would come into play, so I could have a little bit of a better guideline when I was actually doing the line art in color. And then also, let's be real, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I wanted the page to look aesthetically pleasing. I want it to look nice because after all, this is in my sketchbook. Y'all eventually see it when I do another sketchbook tour. So I had to add a little bit of pizzazz. I didn't feel like getting out any extra colors, extra markers, nothing like that, because I knew I was going to turn it digital. So all I did was just fill in the darker areas with some hatching, and even some hatching in the other areas that I didn't want to be highlighted with the green. And then I came in with one of my Tombow markers in a similar green, just to make sure I had the character reference as well as the artist who originally drew them. Now we move on to the speed paint. Just gonna let y'all know, this ended up being my absolute favorite out of all the drawings that I did so far. Granted, I've only done 4 ArtFight attacks thus far, but it's still my favorite one out of all of those. I don't know how many times I've mentioned it, but the one thing I love in art, and I'm growing to love even more as I continue down this process and through this journey, is shapes. Shapes make me go feral. When I tell you, I have to resist screaming right now because I love shapes that much. It came together for this drawing, how I shaded it, how I colored it. I didn't even do too much, but y'all, when y'all see this finished piece, please, you cannot tell me that it's not good. I'm sorry, I refuse to hear any feedback, any advice. Yes, there can be some improvements, but I don't want to hear it right now. This is a great drawing. Look at it. Okay, I've calmed down. I've regained my composure. We're moving on to the next sketch, the next attack that I chose to do. It's of a character who has no name, but they were created by the artist Artzycatz, and the information that they had about them was that they were a vampire, and that was pretty much it. They're still coming up with more information that they may update in the future, but just seeing this vampire with locks who's black was enough for me. Now this one ended up being the most challenging out of all of them for me to sketch and for me to make digital. Now with the sketching process, during this stage, I was like, oh, okay, he looking pretty good. The eyes, the face, like, okay, structure. No, I was still riding the high of drawing Aku right next to him, and I think I got a little overconfident. And I didn't realize he was leaning so far to the right until I got to the digital section, which y'all might see, might not. I hope y'all don't, but hey, I'm letting you know anyways. Thankfully, I was able to fix it once I did make it digital. And I think with this drawing, this is the one character out of all the ones that I drew, and you'll see in this video, that really had me questioning logistics and trying to get into the world of the character. Now, mind you, I don't know anything about this character outside of the fact that they're a vampire, but that affected so many of the elements of this drawing than it should have, honestly. Okay, so let me take y'all through my real deal thought process when it came to doing this sketch. So all I know is that this is a vampire. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, vampires can't really go out in sunlight, need blood, whatever. I focused on the sunlight aspect the most. Going to the clothes, I'm like, okay, he needs an outfit that covers up as much skin as possible so it's not exposed to sunlight. And then based off of the reference image, I was like, okay, he has like a streetwear style. So I found a streetwear outfit that kind of covers as much skin as possible. And then we get into the locks, the hair. And I'm like, man, I really want to do a cool style that shows off this character's locks, but also the hat makes too much sense because it would cover the skin of the face without having to use a mask and cover up the fangs and the nose piercing or the septum piercing. And I was like, okay, so what are the styles you could do with locks with a hat? And the only thing that was coming to mind is just letting them loose or put it in a ponytail. And I don't know if y'all saw, but I was trying to sketch out how a ponytail might look, but it just didn't show off the locks enough for me. And that's the main reason I wanted to draw this, for the locks. But then again, when I was trying to draw the locks down, I was having issues with the placement because of the length of the locks. And I didn't want them to just be straight down boxy because they don't always do that. And I wanted to add some kind of dynamic movement to it since the body was so static. And I went back and forth so many times, y'all don't understand, on what those locks should be. And then I even went even more back and forth once I got into the digital side of it. So I was thinking all this and trying to come to conclusions, and I was trying to fight what I knew had to happen. But hey, we got there in the end. That's all that matters. In the design I chose for the shirt, I just put youth on there just because, you know, vampires, they don't age typically. youth. Yeah, I couldn't do too much. It was a simple design, okay? So hearing all that, y'all can understand why I saved the other half of the locks for last. They were giving me the most trouble. And if y'all have noticed from like my other drawing videos, I jump around a lot, and it's usually because I'm avoiding something that I don't want to do or I don't want to mess up. And in this case, I didn't want to mess up the face. I didn't want to mess up the eyes. And I made the eyes way too big on his face, and that kind of changed the whole thing. Y'all, I make mistakes, okay? And the whole thing about this process of ArtFight, I don't care too much about the original sketch because I know I'm gonna make it digital. So even though I'm a little frustrated with the process, I can calm myself down easy because, hey, this is not its final form. I can fix any issues. I just want it to look good enough for me to be able to move on. And that's what I did. Finished it off with the color and the hatching, and it turned out not bad in the end. I was kind of feeling iffy halfway through, getting to the point where I'm like, okay, it's time to stop drawing. But I pushed through, persevered, and here we go. Moving into the digital portion, I went ahead and corrected that tilt that I saw. And then also I noticed that the character was looking a little too stumpy and short. So I had to go ahead and extend the sketch as well. And yeah, it came out so much better after I made those changes. I also had to shift the angle a little bit because the turn of the head and the turn of the body was going two separate ways. And it's still kind of iffy to me in the end. But hey, it came out so much better than the sketch, and that's what I'm happy about. As I start to finish up the line work and move into color, I did try to experiment with a different process here. I tried to start off with grayscale since that's what the reference mainly used for the character design, and there wasn't anyone that had color. So I'm like, okay, I can kind of guess that this is a black character based off of the grayscale on the skin, and then the eyes I know are red based off of the reference. So let me just play around with the grays, the black, and then the reds. And so I tried something different, but I don't really know how to make it work, how to color using the grayscale. I might have to try watching a video after this, but ArtFight is also about experimentation, and I love that I did that. But we are here to the final piece. Another clip, another day. We are moving on to the third character of this video, and that is a character named Zola by the artist elderlynoises. And this is actually my first and only revenge attack. Now that's an ArtFight term for, say if a person draws your original character and you want to draw one of their characters as well, that would be considered a revenge attack. So because you drew my character, I'm drawing yours. And you can start revenge chains if y'all keep drawing each other's characters. It's just something fun to do. It's supposed to be a fight after all, so you don't want to take any attack sitting down. You got to get your get back. And that's exactly what I did. I was hunting for new characters to draw as I was going through my bookmark page, and then I saw somebody had drawn my OC. And so immediately I was like, yeah, you're getting got. Based on the character description for Zola, she is a young vampire that's 19 years old, but she's been a vampire for about 20 years. She's funny, smart, witty, and extremely passionate to a fault. And now, when I was going through this process, I did not intend to draw two vampires in this video. I just wanted to draw two male presenting characters and two female presenting characters, and that's it. But this is just how the cookie crumbled and the cards that I was dealt, and I was gonna make the best of them. Now this character, Zola, I was able to get this sketch done quicker than any other sketch I've done thus far. And that's because I just really liked her aesthetic. I liked her style. I liked everything about this character. I'm not gonna lie, from the ears to the hair to the fact that they're a vampire, their clothes, everything. That's why I low-key feel like this was a calculated attack by elderlynoises. Because what do you mean you're gonna draw one of my favorite and newest characters that I uploaded, and then second, you're gonna have a character that looks like this, that has this aesthetic, that wears these clothes, that has skull imagery? It was a calculated attack against me! Almost lost my cool there. But anyways, I did have a lot of fun drawing this character, and I did have some issues deciding which outfit I wanted to put her in, because on one hand, the left outfit, it has skull imagery, and I love skull imagery. So that was like my initial go-to. But then the outfit on the right is just too good. Like the tights, the shorts, the shirt, like, yeah, I had to really make some tough choices here, but I decided to go with my gut instinct, which was the outfit on the right. It would look more visually interesting to me, especially with them fire shoes. Like, yeah, so that was the choice, and that's what I ended up going with. But trust me, it was a tough decision. Like, legit, the mug that's sitting next to me on screen is a skull mug. It's a lifestyle at this point, but I pride myself away from it. I was debating doing both outfits, but I knew that would be too much. That would be too much for me, and I didn't want to attack the same character twice. So I resisted, and this is what we were left with. While we're on the topic, might as well, do y'all have any kind of like item or animal that represents you or that you made a part of your personality? Because for me, outside of like skulls or skeleton imagery, it's been sloths. And you know how it's typical for moms to like decorate their kitchen based off of their animal. Like my nana, she used to have roosters and chickens that decorated like everywhere. And I even think my grandma had a rooster somewhere. But anyway, do y'all have anything like that that y'all made a part of your personality or have decorated all around your room? For me, before there was skulls, there was sloths. My best friend will tell you, like, sloths had me in a chokehold. I thought about getting a sloth tattoo. I have so many sloth plushies. They're just everywhere. And I know at this point, I cannot get rid of it. It's a part of me for the rest of my life. I was just curious, making some conversation. But back onto my digital process. I like to mix symmetry with asymmetry. So that's why you'll see me heavily reliant on the symmetry tool when it comes to like the eyes, the facial features. But then once we move on to like pieces of the hair or the clothes and the pose, I try to make it a little bit more asymmetrical. That way your eyes aren't just bored. And it's not like it's just a basic, you know, kind of pose, like the emoji that's just standing. Y'all know what I'm talking about? So it's nothing like that. I used to do drawings like that. I am guilty as charged. But over time, I've learned that when you add in the asymmetry, it makes it just look more visually interesting. And also, shout out to my brother for teaching me that, because he made sure to let me know as well. Also, I'm not sure if I mentioned this in a previous video, but I shade with purple for really no reason in particular. One day I just started shading with purple. I think I've been doing it since I started doing digital art, and I haven't looked back. Okie dokie, so now we've been through this process 3 times already. Y'all know the deal. We have our final drawing. This is the character Moss by the artist Oni Moss. And I really was just drawn to the design, the colors, everything about it. Like any kind of non-human character we've already established, I'm on top of it. And in this case, this is an alien. Based on their character description, they are bubbly, giggly, and absolutely dripping in charm, literally. She may not know the square root of pi, but she does know how to make hearts flutter and how to take the cutest selfies in 0 gravity. She's a huge girl's girl and loves exploring the galaxy. Based on the character's description, I didn't want to give her a more high energy pose, and I felt like this one captured it the best. Even so, I still struggled with actually making it come together. I think a lot of that struggle came down to the proportions that I was using for the chibis, and then also trying to fit all 4 onto one page. But it was mainly the proportions that were throwing me off with this one. I struggled a lot when it came to the Artzycatz drawing as well. I was doing 3 head tall chibis this time, and a couple years before when I did ArtFight, I did 2 head tall chibis, and I'm not sure which one I want to stick with. Actually, that's a lie. I know I don't want to do the 2 head tall chibis anymore, just because they look a little off with the way that I was doing them personally. I was making the body a lot smaller than the head, just to add some kind of difference in the sizing, and it just didn't work out the best, I'll say that. But now that I'm trying to move on to the 3 head tall chibis, I'm trying to figure out how to make that work out best. I think that's the one size that I can do that would still have that cuteness chibi element without going too far into just basically doing a cartoony drawing or something like that, you know? Like, I feel like 4 heads tall, that's starting to get into, I'm just drawing small. You get what I'm saying? It's not giving chibi. But with this 3 head tall length, it looks proportionate. It doesn't look too off, like the head is just humongous while the body is super tiny. I'm still able to get some details in with the outfits more than I was with the 2 head tall chibis. And you know, I still miss out on a few tiny details here and there, but I still am able to get in enough to where you can recognize the character well. Now for future art fights, I'm not sure if I'll stick with this chibi style. It is quick for me to do and it's easier than trying to draw in my style, which I'm not even really sure what that is at this point because I don't draw enough full bodies, but I do know it would take me way longer than these chibis did. So I'm debating right now, maybe one of these days I'll get enough artistic stamina to be able to draw in my quote-unquote style. We'll see. But I am excited for the future art fights that are to come because every year I get a little bit more clarification on how I want to do these attacks. I am noticing that I don't have nearly as much stamina as I did the first year I participated. I think the first year I participated, I did like 14 attacks total over the course of the month. Then the second time I did it, I did a total of 6. And we're on dang near the end of the month and I've only done these 4. So we'll see how that goes. Since I have some extra time to talk through, we could just go ahead and have a little one-person discussion about ArtFight and how y'all approach it. Me, I try to get as many points as possible while doing the least possible. You get me? So, for example, that means I do not do many friendly fire attacks at all. And for those of you who don't know what friendly fire is, that's basically you drawing a character that's made by another person on your same team. So if somebody's on Team Crystal and they have a character that I like and I choose to draw them, it would be considered a friendly fire attack. And because you're doing friendly fire, you get less points for that attack. So I'm not doing that. I can barely draw a few attacks over the course of a month. You think I'm gonna waste an entire drawing just to get like half the points I would have gotten? For these chibis, for example, I get like 40 points per attack. And if I was to do a friendly fire attack, bro, that would be only like 20 points. And I put in all this effort, I'm not doing it. Okay, I get this is a fun, friendly challenge. You're just supposed to draw each other's characters and have a good time. Nah, I am also having a good time while getting as many points as I possibly can. I am racking up points for my team so that we can take the win home. We get bragging rights, that's it. Well, I'm going to make sure that I did my part to get those bragging rights. Now, you can definitely do some friendly fire attacks and still rack up points that way. That's completely fine. I am focused on getting as many points possible per attack. That's my approach. You may approach it differently. That's you. I'm trying to win. Now, ultimately, it is a team effort. So you doing as many drawings as you can, while it does help, it's not going to turn the tides of the battle unless everybody does their part and participates. It's a team effort, which means we all have to do our part and draw. So if you are on Team Crystal, this is your call to action. You're sitting there, you've only submitted a few attacks, you haven't really been drawing. It's time to stand up. It's time for you to put the work in so that you can claim the win too. I don't want to see you with just one drawing submitted, one attack. No, if you're going to attack one of them, you attack all of them. So let's focus on the coloring of this character. I really like how I ended up coloring the skin and the hair to try to get that slimy effect. I would have struggled so much trying to do that traditionally, but seeing how it came out digitally, I really like it and I want to try doing this again in the future. But we are coming to the end of this video here. We're wrapping up with my final drawing. I really hope y'all enjoyed the process of it all, seeing how I go from sketch to line art to final drawing. And I hope that y'all also participate in ArtFight, if not this year, then the next. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope that if your day hasn't been going well, it gets better, and that everything that you're wishing for, hoping for, and working for works out for you in the end. Thanks so much for watching. Hope y'all have a great day. Bye.